Imagine a world with no soap, no showers, and absolutely zero hope for freshness. No deodorant, no shampoo, and nothing at all to make you smell fresh. And absolutely zero toilet paper anywhere to be found in the entire world. Welcome to the absolute nightmare of ancient human hygiene habits and routines. Taking a bath was a rare luxury and a truly terrifying experience. Most ancient humans absolutely reeked beyond anything you can possibly imagine. They actually used fresh animal dung as a daily skincare treatment. Rubbing poop all over their faces was completely normal everyday behavior. For brushing teeth, they used chewed up twigs from nearby trees and crushed charcoal powder for that sparkling whitening effect. But mostly, their rotten, painful teeth just fell right out. Lice were their tiny, disgusting hair roommates that never left. They used rough wooden combs to remove those bugs. But those persistent, annoying lice always came crawling right back. Toilets were nothing but deep holes dug in the dirty ground. They did their business right in the middle of public streets. Romans invented the gross sponge on a stick for cleaning. And they shared that disgusting sponge with absolutely everyone else. Perfume was created to hide those terrible body odors, not to make you smell nice, but to cover the stench. Ancient Egyptians shaved their heads to avoid nasty lice, but they wore heavy wigs that trapped more bugs. They used crocodile dung as ancient birth control. Greek athletes rolled in mud to soothe muscles. Then they scraped it off with metal tools. They didn't wash their hands after using holes. Diseases spread faster than wildfire in ancient times. They used animal fat as moisturizing body lotion, but rancid fat attracted flies and wild animals. Nose picking was a popular ancient hobby. They flicked boogers everywhere without any shame. Ancient people used urine as mouthwash daily. The ammonia in urine whitened their yellow teeth. They bathed in rivers filled with animal waste. That caused deadly infections and skin diseases. They used honey as antibacterial wound treatment. But ants and bugs love the sweet honey. They used moss and leaves as toilet paper. But sometimes they grabbed poison ivy by mistake. That caused painful, itchy rashes for weeks. Ancient people rarely cut their long nails. Dirt under nails caused terrible infections. They used sharp stones to cut their hair. But the stones were never properly cleaned. That spread diseases from person to person. They used chalk and ash to brush teeth, but the gritty mixture wore down enamel. Ancient people had terrible breath always. They chewed herbs to freshen their mouths, but nothing could fix that ancient stench. Ancient people used their earwax as lip balm every day. They actually believed that saliva could heal deep wounds, but saliva actually made infections much worse over time. They used sticky spider webs as makeshift bandages. The webs trapped dirt and caused severe infections. They washed their dirty clothes in nearby rivers. Then they drank water from those same rivers later. That caused horrible stomach diseases every single day. Ancient people always ate their food with dirty hands. Nobody knew about invisible germs back in those days. They all shared their food from the same plate. That spread sickness through entire communities very quickly. They used sharp animal bones to pick their teeth. Bone shards often cut their bleeding gums badly. That caused dangerous gum infections very frequently indeed. They used thick smoke to fumigate their huts. But smoke just made everything smell much worse than before. They buried their waste very close to their homes. That attracted rats and deadly diseases to the village. Ancient people used dried animal dung as fuel. The dung smoke made them cough constantly every day. That caused serious lung problems for everyone involved. They did not brush their tongues at all ever. That made their breath smell like death itself. They used animal blood as hair gel for styling. The blood attracted biting flies constantly and relentlessly. They thought that bad smells caused sickness, so they sniffed flowers to stay healthy and safe. But flowers did absolutely nothing for germs. Germs were completely invisible to ancient people then. They never boiled their drinking water ever at all. That gave them horrible stomach parasites for life. They used animal intestines as condoms for protection, but they reused them without any cleaning whatsoever. That spread diseases through entire tribes and clans. They used coarse salt to scrub their bodies clean. Salt scraped off their skin painfully and brutally. They used strong vinegar to wash their wounds. Vinegar burned like fire on every open cut. They rarely changed their undergarments at all. Their clothes had mold growing on them visibly. Mold caused skin infections regularly and painfully. They used mud masks for beauty treatments. But mud clogged their skin pores terribly. That caused terrible acne and painful boils. They used plant sap for deodorant daily. But sap attracted more insects and bugs. Ancient people suffered terribly from poor hygiene. But they simply did not know any better then. Be thankful for modern soap and hot showers.